Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about morning rituals and flow. Okay, so today I want to talk about a comment that came in on episode 525 from ChordFunk. Now, episode 525 was the one called This Is Not Work, where I talked about how watching YouTube videos could be beneficial professionally, but it's not actually doing the work. And there was a really good comment from ChordFunk who says, definitely not work, but part of the reason why I like watching these videos of yours is that it kind of helps get me into a more productive mindset before starting my real work. So related to that, I have a question. I guess you have read about Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's theory of flow since it's talked about in so many self-help books. I have these small rituals that help me get into a state of flow. One of them is watching YouTube video or two before starting. After that, I open Spotify and my work list. I always start with the song Teardrop, Massive Attack, and from there shuffle the playlist. If at any time I have to take my headset off and talk to anyone, my state of flow is broken and it takes me at least 5 minutes to get back into it. Without the music, I find it very hard to get. When creating a new database schema, for example, the structure I visualize in my head is like a house of cards that will crumble at the slightest disturbance. I know that so well. So my question, do you have any rituals that are set up with starting your workday, or your ritual kind of fluid and always changing? Maybe you should make a video on rituals, or maybe habits could be another way of putting it. So really good. So yeah, the flow. I read Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's book on flow, and I think I listened to another audiobook, but basically both books could have been condensed into an article, which is the goal of doing creative work or doing any kind of work is to get into a state of flow. And as software developers, those of you who are software developers, you know this state where you start coding on something and it might be hard to get started at first, but then you get to the point where it gets, the lights go down in the house, it gets dark outside, and you're just continuing to do it, or you realize you've had to go to the bathroom for the last 3 or 4 hours, and you're just like, but you don't want to get up because you're in the flow and time just flies by, and that's the greatest state to be in. So that's really difficult, especially if you have constant interruptions, if you're working on multiple projects at the same time, or if you have Slack or Gmail or whatever interrupting you throughout the day. But in terms of rituals, I do have rituals. So like today, so this morning, I'm in my normal morning mode. I came in early, I'm unshaven, just throw on my clothes, come into the office. But one of my goals in the morning is to get into a proper state of mind, right? So I do have a few rituals that I do here too. So sometimes you wake up and you're just like, I'll look at all the emails that I have in my inbox, or I'll think about all the projects we have going on, and I could get into the state of overwhelm, or I'm just like, oh my God, how are we going to get through this? This week's going to be terrible. What are we going to do? Right? There's too much going on, or somebody asks you something and you're just like, you feel like you're overwhelmed. You're like, look, I don't have time to think about that right now. Or you're just snapping at everybody, which is nobody else's fault, and it's not a productive state for you to be in. So one of my goals in the morning is to get into a more productive and positive state, right? If you read anything about NLP or Tony Robbins or whatever, they talk a lot about state management, and it's something that I thoroughly believe in. Years ago, I read this article. No, it wasn't an article. It was an interview with Adam Carolla. And I've never really listened to Adam Carolla's podcast or anything, but it was just something I don't even know how I came across this interview, but he was saying how at one time he was working at a radio station until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he would have to be on the Howard Stern show at 3:30 in the morning because he was on the West Coast, and they had to get up really early. And he says, when you get up at 3:30 in the morning, sometimes you're just mad at the world. You'll wake up and you'll go to the kitchen to make a bowl of cereal before, and you'll look at it and you'll go, who stacks bowls like this? Red then blue, then red then blue. What kind of, and he says you'll just get mad at everything. And I know that state of mind too. Sometimes you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed where you're just like, oh, figures this is not done. Figures this is, oh my God. And you're just negative, right? Which is nobody else's fault. but your own. For whatever reason, you're in a negative state of mind and you need to get out of it. So some of the things that I do in the morning, and it's a bit corny, listening to music, yeah, definitely. I'll listen to music. Sometimes I'll try to move around a little bit. I watch a lot, like those motivational YouTube videos, which are very corny, you know, Eric Thomas. There's all the same kind of voices in, you know, in the background music where they have movie clips. Yeah, I love watching that stuff in the morning too, just to help get me in a more positive state and think, okay, yeah, we could do this. And the other thing I do in the mornings is just to go through my inbox and make my to-do list for the day. So I'll go through my inbox because I get so many emails in the course of, the previous day. So I'll go through and I'll move it. I have different folders for action or waiting or a follow-up or, you know, YouTube ideas. Then I'll just kind of go through my inbox and I'll move everything through and just try to clear out my inbox, because a lot of that stuff is irrelevant and it's just clouding my brain. So then I could go through the action folder, and then I have a Trello board which I move everything to, which I have my next actions for the day. So I kind of have I have an idea of everything I can ignore today and everything I should focus on today, and then it gets a little bit more manageable. Of course, you know, I don't know what's going to pop up during the day that I have to handle too, but again, it's all the GTD, getting things done, David Allen mindset. You know, just if you haven't read that book, another really good book, and just to get that going. And then my goal is that by the time everybody else starts the day, I'm in a more positive state of mind. And while they might still be grumpy and, oh, you know, it's Monday mornings or whatever, Monday was Wednesday, I had a tough night sleeping, I'm already over that and I'm already in a better state of mind. So I do have these rituals, and they are pretty consistent each day, and just to get over that sense of overwhelm, there's too much going on, I got too much to do, and just to really kick off the day. So my question to you guys is, what are your morning rituals? For me, it's motivational videos, music, do a bit of exercise if I can, and just to get the day started. That's why these hours in the morning are so important to me. These are my hours. But what do you do each day? How do you get into a state of flow? How do you get, you know, and when people bring you out of it, I mean, how difficult is it to get back in? So anyway, that is it for today. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.